Hello and welcome back to the channel. Steuben here, and today we're going to have a little something different compared to normal. A member of the community is going to provide you a deck profile instead of me doing it. So in this situation, we are joined by Blake, aka Papa Neth, who is the host of noleeks.com, link down in the description below. Go check it out. And they're going to bring you a Giratina VSTAR deck profile into the Silver Tempest format. And in this situation, their website is super awesome. It's insightful and it's free. There's zero paywalls. So it's just like watching a YouTube video. You don't have to go pay to do so in any shape or form. And in the future, I would love to have more community members come on in and drop a deck profile or other content here on the channel for you to, help you see, hey, there's a lot of other creators out there who definitely need some love and attention and deserve your focus as well, not just here and wherever else you might watch content. So there's always just so much more, and I want to be able to show that off to everybody else. So yeah, without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But go to see what Blake has to say about Giratina, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Hello everyone, my name is Blake, otherwise known as Papa Neth, and today I'll be reviewing the Giratina Lost Box deck list for the Silver Tempest format. So a little bit about me real fast before we get started. I am a writer and creator over at noleeks.com, where I'm covering metagame analysis and just general data for events to help you, predominantly with North American events, I should add, reviewing the decks that are in format, figuring out what's going to be best, and ultimately helping you to be ready for each event. So no paywalls, no subscriptions or anything like that. It's just free, good content. So I'm doing about an article once a week, sometimes more, sometimes every other week. But as we get closer to bigger events, I'll be doing much more. But I am here today to review the Giratina Lost Box. So self-plugs aside, let's dive in. So this list that I have here today is based on a Japanese list, or a series of Japanese lists that are doing well in the Silver Tempest format, or at least holding their ground. So it is up with some serious competition with your Lugia V-Star, Regieleki V-Max, Mew V-Max, among other decks. Giratina is a great contender, and it's a great choice in the metagame going forward. And this is a deck that I feel very comfortable and confident with, so I'll dive into a lot of those details. So let's go ahead and get started. So this list runs a 3-3 of Giratina V and Giratina V-Star. So I'll put the deck over here. The first attack on Giratina V is Abyss Seeking. So look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them in the lot into your hand, put the other 2 in the lost zone. So this allows you to see 4 cards, 2 lost, 2 to hand. So it's an efficient attack. It gives you a 50% keep. So it's great if you're going second and you're not swinging for damage into anything, and you were able to get a second Giratina into play. Pretty straightforward, especially if you know that your opponent's not going to be able to get a knockout that next turn. So allows you to get closer to your Mirage Gate number, which we'll dive into a little further down. The other attack is Shred, which attacks for Grass, Psychic, Colorless. Does 160 and ignores all effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So this covers things like Miltank, and this covers other walling attacks or walling abilities, or any sort of attack effect that reduces damage. So overall, strong attacker with 220 HP, no weakness, and 2 retreat. So go ahead and set this over here. And for Giratina V-Star, we have 280 HP, no weakness, 2 retreat. Another strong card, and this is the main function of the deck. Lost Impact does 280 damage, which, mind you, will one-shot every V-Star in the game right now. And the drawback after fulfilling the Grass, Psychic, Colorless cost is put 2 energy attached to your Pokemon into the Lost Zone. It's important to note that it doesn't have to be the active that you Lost Zone. So you can Lost Zone energy on your bench. We'll dive into that further down the line, and where that can matter. But when you're reaching 280, you're just one-shotting everything. So it's a really powerful attack on an already powerful card. And the V-Star power for Giratina V-Star is Star Requiem. So you can only use this attack if you have 10 cards in the Lost Zone. Your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out if you meet that condition. So really efficient. Once you've done a Lost Impact, you've already got 2 energy in there. If you're Lost Impacting, you've more than likely already met your Mirage Gate, which is 7. So then that just means you need 1 more from the Comfey that we're about to review. So Giratina as a deck itself is very heavy on sequencing and making sure that you get you keep the right things in hand, and you pitch the right things to the Lost Zone when you need to. And especially with energy, you have to be very, very efficient with that. So more to come on that. But in order to consistently get things into the Lost Zone and get them in there as early as possible, you need Comfey. Comfey kind of works like an acro bike of sorts with its flower selecting ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Put the other card in the Lost Zone. So it's an ability that is very similar to Giratina's Abyss Seeking, but it's half of the card count. So you see one, you pitch one into the Lost Zone. And this can be chained over and over, especially with Scoop Up Net. So you can do it once, scoop it up, put another down, scoop it up, switch it back to the other one, scoop. And you've got 3 cards in Lost Zone by doing that just 3 times. So very cool ability. And it is the core function of this deck. So we'll go ahead and set that right there. Now we have Lumineon V. This is a 1-of in the deck with the Luminous Sign ability that allows you to, when you play this to your bench, you can search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. So if you're familiar with Tapu Lele GX, this is exactly the same. So you also, in this list, can use the Aqua Return attack, which is 120. And it allows you to shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached into your deck. So this can take out certain cards, like this can take out your Cramorants, this can take out some of the Reggies in the Regigigas matchups. So very good attack to use. I believe it actually can only take out the Regieleki, but yeah, so that covers that. And that allows you to make sure that you can find your Colress when you need it, especially early on. If you don't draw into it, just get out the Lumineon and get that Colress going to get more cards in the Lost Zone. So we've got Radiant Greninja. This is here for pretty much everything the Greninja can offer. Concealed Cards allows you to discard an energy card from your hand, and if you do, you draw 2 cards. So when you run a lot of energy, this allows you to just see more cards. Moonlight Shuriken attacks for water, colorless. Discard 2 energy, and this attack does 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's like a small 1 prize basic Urshifu VMAX, Gmax Rapid Flow. So this is an amazing attack on an already efficient support card. So it offers a little bit of everything. Huge fan of this card, and it is very beneficial in this matchup where Giratina is taking 1-shots and Greninja can help you in your single prize matchups. So the next 2 cards we'll cover are Cramorant and Sableye. Cramorant has the ability Lost Provisions. If you have 4 or more cards in the Lost Zone, ignore all energy in this Pokemon's attack cost. So turn 1 going second, if you hit a Colress and then use 2 abilities from Comfey, you're going to be able to use Spit innocently for 110. So this can allow you to get some early damage on and can combine for KOs with Giratina, or get cleaned up by Greninja, or attacks can be cleaned up by Sableye later on in the game. The attack that is the main purpose of running Sableye is Lost Mine, which has the same lost condition that Giratina VSTAR requires. So you need 10 cards in the Lost Zone. If you do, put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you'd like. So it's effectively a snipe card that allows you to snipe 120 anywhere, or you can spread it out however you'd like. So between Greninja, Cramorant, and Sableye, you can cover pretty much every matchup that Giratina doesn't. So this deck very much operates like a toolbox in that sense, because you just have everything can attack, everything has options, and you can use it in every matchup. So now we'll dive into the supporters. So Colress Experiment is a pivotal part of the deck list and further assists Comfey in reaching your lost counts. So the supporter says, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put 3 of them into your hand, put the other cards in the Lost Zone. So this allows you to C5 and then pitch 2 into the Lost Zone. So this is the most efficient and the safest way to move cards into the Lost Zone, because Giratina and Comfey, C4, pitch 2, C1, pitch 1. So you want to Colress before you Comfey. There's a whole debate on this, but you want to Colress before you Comfey because it is the safer option to not pitch things that you might want later on in the game. So especially early on. So this helps you get there as fast as you can and is an overall great supporter for this engine. Now these are a new card named Serena, and I have a 2 of in this list because it helps to draw more cards later on in the game when you don't need to Colress anymore. Or it can double as Gust. So you have to pick one of these 2 options here. So this card's in Japanese because it's just a proxy right now. But one of the costs are you can discard up to 3 cards in your hand. Up to, so I believe you don't have to discard anything. You can discard 1, and then you can discard up 2 or 3. But then you draw up to 5 cards. So you can discard everything in your hand and draw 5 if you only had 3 cards in your hand. So a rather nice support option to have. But then it also has another effect that you can pick to replace the other effect, is you can choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon V and bring it to the active. So it acts like a boss's orders, but only on V Pokemon. So we run 2 of these because it gives you the option to Gust when you need it, and it allows you to draw when you need it too. So it's nicer than having 2 boss, in my opinion. And I've found some great success with it so far in testing. But that is an option in where we can switch, and we'll review some cards that can be swapped out. With Serena, the Serena being a potential swap. Boss's Orders is just your typical Gust. We run 1 of them to switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active. So helps you Gust up anything if you want to just finish up the game and you don't have Sableye as a Lost Mine option to take a knockout. Covers your base. So, and then in addition to that, Roxanne is more like a disruption card than it is draw support, because you can only use this card if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining. So take a knockout on a Giratina and a Comfey, or any of the other single prizers, and then they're there. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 6 cards and your opponent draws 2. So it acts somewhat like N in that sense, but it's now a required prize condition to be met, and the cards go 6 for you, 2 for your opponent. So now we're going to take a look at the trainer cards that are left in the deck that help you to further your engine. So we have 4 of Battle VIP Pass. This is an amazing card and absolutely busted broken in this list. You can use this card only during your first turn, so whether you go first or second doesn't matter. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Insane. Absolutely great card. To me, I think of it a lot like Bridget, And that maybe that's just because I'm a boomer. I don't know. I It's such a powerful card that it feels like a supporter sometimes, and it's so good. So if you hit a battle VIP pass turn 1 going first, you're pretty much golden. So you can get out anything you need, and then you're ready for the next turn. Going second, it's even better, and Chorus helps you to get there to see more of these battle VIP pass or more chances to see one. So overall, just very great for the deck function. So the next card I've got is Scoop Up Net, and this goes hand in hand with Comfey, which allows you to chain the abilities because it allows you to pick up a non-rule box Pokemon that isn't a Pokemon V or GX, because you can pick up Greninja. You can't pick up Vs or GX, I should note. So you can pick up your Comfey that's in the active, switch it with another Comfey, use the ability, scoop it up, put the other one into the active, and it goes on. So great card, and you absolutely should be running a 4 of it. Now this is the real true piece that matters the most in this deck, is Mirage Gate. You can only use this card if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you'd like. Absolutely insane effect. And this is where, when I mentioned that the Lost Zone feels kind of like the Beast mechanic or Ultra Beast mechanic, this is like a Beast Ring, except you need to meet the 7 cards in the Lost Zone. So the way that can kind of break down is you can get 2 from Colress in a turn. Let's say you get 2 Comfey, there's your 4. And then let's say you Giratina Abyss Seeking, you're at 6 already by doing that in that one turn. So you can hit 7 very fast if you sequence everything properly. So very, very cool effect, and absolutely needs a 4 of. I've tested with the 3, and ultimately if you end up having to Lost Zone a Mirage Gate, it feels really bad. So I like to max out that count, as well as many of the Japanese lists do. Now we're going to go ahead and look at Ordinary Rod. This is a card that allows you to choose one or both. Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck, or shuffle up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. So when you're discarding things with either Serena or you're discarding energy with Greninja, this allows you to get some of that energy back, or Pokemon back, especially if there's knockouts. So you can get Greninja back or Sableye or Cramorant. So very, very powerful item to have in this list. So now we run a 1 of Ultra Ball and a 1 of Quick Ball. And this is just to further support the deck in its general function. Ultra Ball is discard 2, search your deck for any Pokemon. Pretty normal stuff. Quick Ball is discard 1, search for a basic. So this effectively acts as a second out to Lumineon. So it's like you're running 2 Lumineon in that sense, is how I like to think about it. But it can search out anything that you need that is a basic. So just a 1/1 feels fine with your dependency on Battle VIP Pass and then Capture Energy later on. So now we'll get into some of the switch effects that are in the list. So we have Escape Rope that allows you to have your opponent switch one of their benched Pokemon with their active, or switch their active with their benched, because it's not a gust, it's not a true gust, and then you switch one of yours with one of your benched to the active. So it just switches everything around. So it's nice if you're playing against a wall deck and you can't get past it. Like if it's Duraludon and you have a special energy attached and you can't start Requiem yet, you can just Escape Rope and get it out of the active. So things like that are very beneficial. Now we also run 1 of Air Balloon and 1 of Switch. This is just your standard Switch card here. The good art, that's the proper art to use. Now Air Balloon is a tool that you can attach to any of your Pokemon, and it makes your retreat cost 2 less. And this can attach to any of the Pokemon in the deck, and it gives all of them free retreat because they all have less than a 2 cost for retreat. So effectively between that, you can attach the air balloon to a Comfey, and that can be the card that you bring up after a knockout. So very important card to have. Now we'll dive into the other two tools, or the other two tools in the list, one being Choice Belt and the tool remover in Lost Vacuum. So Choice Belt lets you hit that extra 30 damage, so this can help you offset a V-Guard energy, or this will offset a big charm on your opponent's V-Star or V-Max or whatever, so very helpful. This also helps Giratina to get from 280 to 310 to get the knockout on Mew V-Max. So that's very big. And then Lost Vacuum can help you to further get cards into the Lost Zone. So the effect reads, you can only use this card if you put another card from your hand into the Lost Zone. Choose a Pokemon tool attached to any Pokemon or stadium in play and put it into the Lost Zone. So you can put like a Battle VIP Pass, or you can put something else into the Lost Zone, and then you can remove either your own tool or your own stadium in play, or your opponent's stadium or your opponent's tool. So I like to, in a pinch, you know, if I really need to reach Star Requiem fast, I'll play down a stadium that I don't necessarily need. I'll discard one of my own cards, or I'll Lost Zone one of my other cards, and I'll Lost Zone Temple of Sinnoh. And then I've effectively gotten 2 cards in the Lost Zone for this one item card. So very powerful. So now we'll get into the stadiums and energy. Now this might seem weird with what I'm about to show for the 4 capture energy, but Temple of Sinnoh I run a 2 of in this list because it allows you to change the effects of all special energy attached to provide colorless and have no other effect. So this means capture energy doesn't search anything. This means powerful energy doesn't boost 20. It means Aurora doesn't serve any specific type of energy other than colorless. And it also means double turbo energy, which is popular in Arceus and Lugia, only serves 1 energy. So amazing stadium, and it's super important for this deck going forward. I would say 1 is a must. 2 feels very, very important to the list, but it could be cut. So we'll dive into the capture energy, which I run 4 of. This allows you to, when attached, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. So this allows you to further set up your board state in the early game, which is just important for this deck. You need to have a good start with this deck in order to go the long haul, because its mid game is self-sustaining. It's the early game where you need to get things in the Lost Zone and you need to see a lot of cards. So we run 4 Psychic Energy, we run 3 Grass Energy, and we run 3 Water Energy. This gets our total to 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 energy in the list. So we run 4 Psychic because we're more likely to use the effect of Sableye as well as Giratina. So I'd rather have 1 more of the Psychics than have 1 more of the Grass. 3 Grass and 3 Water feel like the minimum cost requirements. With Greninja requiring 2 Water Energy, you want to make sure that you can either Lost Zone 1 or have 1 in the prizes, and you'll still be fine. So all in all, this is the 60 card list here, and I think it's important to note just a few situations that can come up with this list. So with Giratina, for example, you know, we have Lost Impact hitting 280. A card that's going to be very popular coming up is V-Guard, which reduces the damage taken from V Pokemon by 30. And that can attach to something like Giratina or a Lugia V-Star or really anything. And it means that your 280 won't hit the number that it needs to. So this is where it's also really big for Temple of Sinnoh to be in the list, because you can remove that effect. But it goes further, because now, think about it like this. Your opponent has a V-Guard attached to their active. Let's say they have a Big Charm too. If they have a Big Charm, now this is where these techs come in, and it's very important. So now you can have a Temple of Sinnoh in play, and then you can have a Choice Belt attached. Or you can hit the Lost Vacuum and remove their Big Charm. Or if they have a Tool Jammer, Lost Vacuum the Tool Jammer. So all of these things are really important for this list and allow you to reach the numbers to continue to have favorable matchups where necessary. So I would say this deck's hardest matchup now seems to be like it's Lugia, but I think with Temple of Sinnoh and proper sequencing, that matchup is still very winnable. I believe that covers pretty much everything. So if you have any questions, you can find me over on noleeks.com. My name was Blake, and thank you for watching. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to Steuben for having me on his channel and having me do this deck profile with you guys. So I hope you found it helpful, and look forward to doing another one soon.